Hey guys, Denver James here, and in this video, I'm going to be reviewing the game Happy Little Dinosaurs. I'm going to be breaking down how it works, what's great about it, what's not so great about it, and my overall thoughts on the game. If you'd like to see more review videos like this one, please be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single upload. There will also be a link for this game in the description of this video if you want to buy it. Let's talk about how the game works. The object of the game is to be the first person to get your little dino to safety by avoiding disasters and working your way through the escape route. To start, each player is going to choose a dinosaur board along with its corresponding meeple. Next, you're going to separate the light cards and the dark cards into their own piles. Shuffle each of the decks and put them in the center of the table, leaving room for a discard pile by each deck. Then deal 5 of the light cards to each player. Now you're ready to start the game. To kick things off, take a card from the dark pile, flip it over on the table, and read it aloud. At this point, each player will choose a point card from their hand to play. If a player does not have any point cards in their hand, they must discard their 5 cards and draw another 5. Once all players have laid down a point card, everyone will reveal their card at the same time. The player with the highest score wins the round and gets to move their dino that same amount of spaces along the escape route. The player with the lowest score adds that disaster card to their disaster area with the option to discard a card that they may not want from their own hand. It's important to keep in mind that these point cards aren't the only points that you're dealing with. On each player board is a set of traits unique to your own dinosaur, and they correlate directly with the disaster cards. For example, if you're playing with Bad Luck Bronto and a natural disaster card is played, you get to add 1 extra point to your overall score. However, if a predatory disaster card is played, you must subtract 1 point from your overall score. Another way that your points can be affected is by the instant cards. Each of these cards has a powerful, special ability that can easily change the course of a round. For example, Score Sapper allows you to subtract 2 points from any player's score. Many of these cards can alter a player's overall score, mixing up the food chain within seconds. Instant cards earn their name by being able to be played right away in certain situations. Each card will state exactly when they can be played. And lastly, your overall score can be affected by the point cards themselves. While some of these point cards have no abilities, others come packed with a punch. For example, Mouthtrap allows you to swap the score of the highest scoring player with that of the lowest scoring player once scores have been added up. Similar to the instant cards, point cards also let you know when they can be used. Once you've taken all of this into account, you'll have your final scores. While the winner of the round gets to move along the route according to the points they earned, the loser only gets to move as many spaces as they have disaster cards. The winner also gets to add points from the disaster cards to their overall score. For example, if you have 2 disaster cards, you get to move 2 spaces across your route. Make sure all used cards are discarded throughout the game. Each player will then draw back up to 5 cards and resume the next round. If at any point you run out of cards to draw, simply shuffle the discard pile and add it to the draw pile. If you collect 3 disaster cards of the same type, or 3 different disaster cards altogether, you're eliminated from the game and are rendered extinct. Meteor cards act as the wild cards of disaster cards, meaning that it counts as any of the 3 disasters. You win the game by being either the first dino to reach the end of your escape route, or by being the last dino left standing. Let's talk about what's great about this game. On most game nights, you'd have to choose between playing either a card game or a board game, but with Happy Little Dinosaurs, you get the very best of both. Not only do you get to duke it out with your fellow dinos over a battle of the cards, but you also get to move your little dino across your board to safety. It's this combination of fun gameplay styles that sets Little Dinosaurs apart from the rest of the herd. Another thing that I love about this game is its hilariously wry and dark sense of humor. The whole game is literally about these dinos fleeing from extinction, and yet you can't help but laugh at the many scenarios that these poor little creatures find themselves in. And on top of all of this, these are some of the cutest dinos ever to face the end of the world. Combine all of these elements together, and you have a game that's every bit as funny as it is fun. Let's talk about what's not so great about this game. While there's absolutely nothing wrong with the gameplay from a technical standpoint, things can get a little complicated when adding up all of the points. By the time you've factored in point cards and their abilities, dinosaur traits, disaster cards, and instant cards, you can feel as though you've pulled off quite the math problem. While this doesn't by any means ruin the overall experience of the game, it can tend to make the end of each round feel like a bit of work. Then again, I'm more of a history guy than a math guy. All in all, Happy Little Dinosaurs is a hilariously twisted walk through the dino apocalypse. You'll find yourself laughing at its many zany scenarios and jokes, while the design of the game itself will have you enamored by every colorful detail. If you're questioning whether or not to add this prehistoric discovery to your gaming museum, my advice would be to make the first bid. Well, hey, that's all I've got for you guys in my review of Happy Little Dinosaurs. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this review video. Take care, and I'll see you around.